We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Jones, would you lead us in invocation?
Father, as we come this morning, we're going to start with the reading of Isaiah 40, verse 31, to give us some inspiration. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Father, as we come to you today, we just ask for your blessing on this meeting, on the county, and particularly today as we give special notice to employees with noted tenure. We just give you thanks for those employees and their families. We give you thanks also, Father, for this opportunity to worship you, to have you join us in this meeting. And Father, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask for rainfall for our dry land before we go. But today we give you thanks for all of the blessings from above in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please be seated. The only chairman comment that I have this morning is really a public service announcement for Senator Jerry Moran, who will be here in Garden City on Tuesday, February 21st, that's today, at 10:30 at the Lee Richardson Zoo to talk about the Senate Appropriations Committee, who helped secure a federal investment for Garden City to carry out a water reuse project. Kudos to Senator Moran. All right, on our consent agenda, we have approval of the minutes, approval of payables as itemized. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
And I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment this morning from anyone. Twyla Lee has asked for the opportunity to address the commission. We'll begin with her, but if anyone else wishes to address the commission after Twyla is done, please keep your comments brief and respectful, and we will hear from the public. Twyla.
Good morning. So thank you very much for the opportunity to address the commission here. So I'm really thrilled to be here. I am the CEO for the Centura St. Catherine Hospitals in Southwest Kansas. So that is Garden City, Dodge City, and Ulysses. Really thrilled to be here. A quick background of my history. So I come by way of Indiana, originally from Ohio. I was with the Ohio State University. My grandfather, some 100 years ago, moved from Kansas to Ohio, bought a farm and got married. So I'm coming back home to my roots and really thrilled to be here. Just a brief update on our hospitals, and we're really working together as a region here in Southwest Kansas, all three of the hospitals. We know that resources are scarce. Access to care oftentimes is scarce. So number one priority is to work with the resources we have regionally, and we're doing that. We have some, I think, great stories of where we've brought care to the patients within the hospitals by using resources in all three of the hospitals. We're going to continue to do that, as well as my priority, really number one, is to recruit physicians to Southwest Kansas. We have some longer-term plans that I think are going to materialize. They're 3 to 5 years, working with the Kansas Health Sciences, the DO program here, So we'll start seeing some residents coming in next year. We're working with surgery. We're working to get champions for OB and other specialties. So again, long-term plans, but short-term, we really are looking to open access to care here locally, continuing to recruit one physician at a time, one provider at a time. Other than that, I just want to say I'm thrilled to be here. This has been a wonderful community, and took a minute to get moved here, but I am here, resident here, so I thank you for the opportunity. Are there any questions that I might be able to answer, or?
Commissioners?
Were you able to find housing?
I did. I bought a house, and I moved in 2 weeks ago, and I'm still unpacking.
For you, because we hear that concern every now and then.
I am here.
We appreciate that.
No questions, just welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Anyone else from the public wish to admonish or speak to the commission? Hearing none, we'll move on then with the agenda. I'm waiting for the public to see what the agenda is. All right. First item on the business agenda is health insurance update from Ms. Miller from IMA. And is she here today?
Good morning, commissioners. I'm here on the Teams. I'm not certain if I cannot see you. I'm not certain if you can see me.
There we go.
We got you now.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, good morning. Thank you for allowing me to come and speak today. I wanted just to give you all an update on where the health insurance plan landed for 2022 and what our plan is moving forward for 2024. Last year, the county took on a large increase, and so we just wanted to make sure that we're being good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. So I have a slideshow, and for I got lost in my show. Hold on, please. My computer just started fritzing out.
Ms. Miller, would you introduce the other persons that's with us
Oh.
on the screen?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to do that. Hey, everyone, it's Christy Powell. I'm your executive sponsor and your relationship manager. I'm just here to support Jayla and in the county. Good morning.
Apologies, commissioners. For whatever reason, my PowerPoint is not working correctly. So let me
Do
just
you want me to pull it up, Jayla?
I've got it. I just want to go into shareable mode. So we're going to do this. Can everyone see my screen now?
I believe we have the 2022 plan year financial update.
Absolutely. Okay, great. All right. So as we've been meeting with the county staff monthly just to go over the claims data and to let them know where the plan is running. This is a full look at your 2022 plan year compared to 2021. Both years, you've hit maximum aggregate liability under your Blue Cross plan. Aggregate insurance is an insurance you buy to protect the county from liability. Any claims over that maximum, then Blue Cross Blue Shield pays on behalf of the county. So under paid medical for 2022, the cost per employee per month, that's what PEPM stands for, was $1,077. This was a decrease from claims from 2021 of 8.3%. So while we still hit aggregate, we started to see claims, and at least the dollars associated with those claims, go down on the medical side. That wasn't the same story on pharmacy. We did see a paid pharmacy per employee per month of $559. That is an increase of 43.3%. This is not uncommon. This is something we're seeing across our book of business. Pharmacy costs are continuing to go up, especially for things like specialty medications and those types of things. When we combine your medical and pharmacy spend compared to 2021, it was an increase of 4.6%, ending with a paid medical and RX per employee per month of $1,636. And that's being driven mostly by the cost of pharmacy. When we look at your large claim potential, so the county buys an individual specific stop loss policy of $125,000 from Blue Cross Blue Shield. That means the county is paying $125,000 claims for every individual, and anything over $125,000 Blue Cross Blue Shield picks up. There were 20 or 62 and a half is half of that, or 50% of that spec loss or spec deductible. There were 18 claimants who were over 62,500 in claims in 2022. That is up 4 from 2021. However, I did go back and check the actual spec hits that the county had. So the amount of people who had over 125,000 in claims. There were 4 spec hits in 2022 compared to 8 in 2021. So we did see a decrease in the larger claims over between 2021 to 2022. In the middle here, we just have a chart that shows you how the plan paid by, we broke down pharmacy and then the medical categories. So you can see the pharmacy here at 559 PEPM and the increase from 2021. The benchmark here, the dark blue, is just the our IMA commercial book of business. Inpatient claims were pretty steady between 2022 versus 2021. Outpatient claims went down, so that's where we can really see that decrease in medical claims. And the office visit went down. It was only $120 per employee per month compared to $172. We are digging further into how the Grow Well Clinic made any sort of dent into the prior year versus 2022. So that's something we're working on right now and we'll be presenting to staff in the next few days. Of the 18 total members here that were high claimants, 9 were related to medical claims and 9 were related to high cost prescriptions.
Was there a question?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So aside from just how the plan ran, I wanted to give you an update on how the budget ran this year. So for 2022, we had several, where we were in the red is where on the estimated surplus or deficit is where the plan ran. There were more claims than what was budgeted in that particular month. So there were 4 months where the plan ran above. Because we hit aggregate in 2021, the county was able to put away almost $250,000 right at the start of the plan year. That's something we expect to see this year as well because the plan hit aggregate last year. We also set the budget this year for the county near max, which is 120% of expected. So these numbers should be a lot larger, and the goal was to build back up the reserve that got depleted during 2021. I do want to point out here this column that says rebates. This is money that's given back to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield because of some of the prescriptions that are on the drug. So the manufacturers pay back a rebate through the plan, and then Blue Cross Blue Shield passes that on to you. This is 80% of rebates. That's what Blue Cross Blue Shield gives back to their clients. But the total cost, I know it might be hard to see there, was $325,778. So that's money that came back to the county. And so moving here to total actual cost, this number here was the cost for the year. This is made up of the total fixed cost, so that's $705,000 and the net claims paid. And then with the total budgeted cost, we were at 3.9 million. The estimated surplus, or it would be a deficit. So based on your budget last year, the estimated deficit was $68,680. For reference, for 2021, the deficit was somewhere close to $800,000. And so we budgeted over expected last year at 106%. And with the RX rebates coming back to the plan, that really helped buoy some of the deficits we saw month to month. Any questions on the budget?
No questions.
Great. So for 2024, what are we going to do to help the Finney County mitigate some of these increases? Considering you've hit maximum the last 2 years, Blue Cross Blue Shield will weigh those 2 years more heavily in their renewal calculation that we'll receive in June. And so we're actually getting a head start on renewal this year. You know, we realize that the county cannot continue to take on 40% increases like you took on last year. And so in order to keep the benefit plan designs rich without starting to take away from employees and put additional cost burden in their pockets in the form of deductibles and things like that, really we want to take a look at the carrier partners that the county is working with. And so we're going to do a medical plan marketing and look at other administrators separate from Blue Cross Blue Shield. We'll look at third-party administrators that have a large national footprint in terms of provider networks. And the first step in that is doing what we call a provider disruption. So we've sent a request for proposal to Meritain, which is a TPA owned by Aetna, and UMR, which is a third-party administrator owned by United Healthcare. And we're going to start actually looking through those providers to see who falls out of network in Garden City and which employees and those providers might be affected. Second to that, we'll look at what we call pharmacy benefit managers. So they're managing the pharmacy side. Considering that you have a large spend, and we've seen several large increases in pharmacy the last couple of years, this is really, there's some unique partners that are doing some unique programs that can really help save the county a lot of money when it comes to pharmacy. And we're in the middle of evaluating those right now. A lot of pharmacy benefit managers will pass through 100% of the rebates back to you as the plan sponsor, whereas Blue Cross only gives 80. So that's already a leg up. When we are looking at other partners, there are some unique cost containment programs that are leveraging copay maximization programs and manufacturer assistance or programs called patient assistance programs, where if you make under a certain amount of dollars from a household income standpoint, you can apply to these foundational grants and get that plan or that drug paid for 100%, and then that drug comes off the plan. So win-win for the employer and the plan sponsor. So we're looking at those types of drugs, and then we're looking at things like formulary and network disruption related to pharmacy as well. Third-party administrators, the two I mentioned, Meritain and UMR, tend to have more competitive administration fees than what you're currently paying with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So that would mean a decrease to fixed cost for the county if we were to move. And then they are very much able to plug in a lot of different cost containment programs that aren't necessarily carrier based. So it gives the county a lot more flexibility to put programs and cost containment things in place that actually will help based on the claims data that we're seeing, and just not kind of something that's being thrown at you with every other client. And so we'll continue with the pharmacy solution review, plan design review, just to make sure we're hitting the mark in terms of plan designs. And then additionally, we'll partner with Blue Cross on their Grow Well clinic analysis. They are working on reporting right now. And I expect to have that back from them here soon so that we can compare that to our data. So Lots to do before the June renewal release, but we're planning to meet with the staff and the team on Friday, and we're going to start digging into all of this. So what questions do you have about our plan for 2024?
What's the basis of only returning 80% of the pharmacy rebates to the county?
You know, that's just been Blue Cross's policy for as long as I think they've been dealing in this rebate game. Christy, is there any other context you can provide?
Yeah, really, their position is they believe they're supplementing their stop loss pricing by only giving their clients 80% of the rebates. Blue Cross's stop loss pool, for you guys, you buy into a pool in Kansas, so every employer that buys the same deductible that you all buy are sharing kind of in a pooled product that they believe they're augmenting some of those prices by only giving 80% of rebates. It's very much they're the unique animal in that respect. Every other TPA allows for 100% rebates and even more transparency in the way that the drugs are procured. So it is one of the things that we continuously ask Blue Cross to get competitive on, and that's just something that they're going to have to continue to evaluate their business policy on.
Is there anything contractual about the 80% number, or is it arbitrary from Blue Cross?
It's arbitrary. I mean, they don't allow us to see the AWP pricing. It's very much a shell game behind the scenes in the way that they rebate those dollars. So again, outside of Blue Cross Blue Shield, we have complete contractual ability to have guarantees. We have full transparency into the ingredient costs of the drugs, and Blue Cross, unfortunately, in their bundled, what we call their bundled administrative services only product, just don't allow for that.
With regard to a third-party administrator, you're not suggesting that we're going to move, just that you're going to analyze it?
Yeah. We're at this point, we're analyzing if it makes sense based on numbers. That would be something we would talk about with staff before making a recommendation on if they're comfortable with something like that. And then, of course, bring to you for, your approval. And it's something that we would keep you updated on throughout the course of the year if that was a direction we were looking to go.
Okay, renewal is June 1st?
Your renewal is
June-
a June.
Yeah, June 1st is when Blue Cross releases your renewal. We have it released that early so that you have an idea of at least what the Blue Cross numbers are going into budget season, and so that you can complete your budget. But the plan actually renews in January.
So it's a 1/1 to 1/1 plan?
That's
Correct.
correct.
Yeah, one of the nice things about Blue Cross of Kansas, and that, again, back to the stop loss product, is because it's pooled, they're willing to release firm pricing in June for a 1/1 renewal, which gives you guys the ability to set your budgets, as Jayla mentioned, but also be very proactive in any implementations that you need to do. That's very unique to Blue Cross. So while we are able to get their firm numbers in June, we won't have the competitive marketing until the fall. To show you actual firm stop loss numbers. So it's a little bit of a process when we're unfolding different opportunities for you guys to consider.
Well, don't give up on pricing and analysis, but we're restrained budget-wise. We have to put a budget together by August. We don't have till the
Right. You'll have your budget numbers. I mean, we'll know the budget numbers that we need to work within, and you'll have those firm numbers. Anything that we're going to show you outside of Blue Cross, we'll have different programs that will be in a savings potentials for the county. So that's part of the analysis. And then also, as your consultant, it's our job to go back to Blue Cross and lay out for them what we found in the market. And obviously with the intent and goal that we can get some additional leverage that way as well.
When will we next hear back from you?
Great
But we're
question.
meeting with staff on Friday to review more in-depth data from 2022 and start working through this network analysis and things like that. We're happy to, provide you updates at whatever interval you feel is appropriate. And we can work through Robert and Kelly and team to get those on the calendar and the agenda.
Very good. Any other questions, commissioners?
I'd say probably the June timeframe, we'd have the renewal information we can share with you guys, and then probably an update on just the fixed cost savings that we found, because we'll have the TPA marketing done, I would imagine, by that time. So we could have kind of a good portion of the analysis done, come that June timeframe, whenever the June commissioner meeting is.
Okay, this Dave Jones for those online, with about 3 questions, maybe more for Robert and for Kelly. But in the past, we've had what I'm going to call a workshop with the IMA folks and the Blue Cross representative stopped in, and we had 1 or 2 commissioners there, so we obeyed open meetings. But that was an opportunity to really understand all of these facts and figures that these ladies are laying out here. Are we going to do that again?
Yes, yes. We'll believe we will begin that in March, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
All right, that Jerry, is an opportunity to really see what's, you can spend a couple hours and come out with a vision of what's taking place. Now, I have 2 other questions. Did I understand that there's a discussion or at least investigation about moving away from Blue Cross Blue Shield as the administrator?
That's what the medical marketing is for, just to see if it's feasible. You know, if we get the network analysis back and, 20% of your staff and members are disrupted, that doesn't seem like it would be a good move, right? And so we at least just want to see what's going on in the market and get some pricing before we, make any kind of definitive decisions.
Okay. I might be a little reluctant to buy that. We have the lady from the hospital here who would probably accept brand X if that's who's representing us. But having experience in the past with some of these no-name companies, you get an opportunity to pay for your health care out of your own pocket and then collect later from the health company. And I don't want to put our employees in that spot. And
Yeah, absolutely.
finally,
I agree with you.
Finally, I have one kind of a global question, and that is we've done a number of experiments over the years trying to contain cost of health care. Then the latest was an employee health clinic by contract. That figures in here somehow. Can somebody at some point tell us if that endeavor is paying for itself, or are we spending more than it's worth?
Jayla
Yeah,
mentioned that
absolutely.
in her presentation, that
She
their staff is reviewing the information from that and looking over historical data to determine what kind of an impact it has had so far. We can tell you that the employees and their families have utilized that tenfold since we've moved that. As you remember, was with the health department. Now we've contracted that out. So.
I think Ms. Miller had a comment.
Oh, I was just going to say that's something we're echoing Robert. We're going to be evaluating that as well. So.
Okay, good. So.
But you
Thank
have
you.
some good, you had a good point there. Our number 1 goal is to educate and inform you guys. It's part of IMA's core consulting philosophy, is that you guys fully understand what's possible and what's in the market, but have you be educated and informed. And so that workshop is going to be a great way for us to dive in deeper on these concepts for you guys, because I think that's going to be really important as we continue to move forward. Unfortunately, in the game of healthcare and healthcare delivery, sometimes the claims payer that we have at the table just can't manage claims effectively for clients. And so there is scenarios where you have to leave the carrier comfortable with, but it's an evaluation that requires full understanding of the opportunity and comfort level with the new claims administrator that we're bringing to the table. So completely understand that, but that's our job to do that heavy lifting for Robert and Kelly.
For those in the audience, last year when at this point in time, folks walked in and said, be prepared for a 31% increase in healthcare. Does that sound familiar? Mm-hmm. That was scary as you start your budget, and that's a substantial figure to compute in. So, all right, thank you, folks.
Thank you, guys.
Nothing.
All right. Thank you for your presentation. Look forward to working with our staff.
Absolutely. And we
Thank
love,
you.
and we can't see Twyla, but we'd love to meet Twyla. We're out there monthly in person, Twyla. So I'd love the chance to come sit down and introduce you and introduce you to IMA and get to know you a little bit better.
Okay, thank you.
What a wonderful deal for you. You get to kill two birds with one stone.
Bye, guys.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Goodbye.
Aye.
Next on our agenda, we'll hear a monthly update from Finney County Economic Development. Lana?
Good morning. I don't have a lot for you. Most of you, well, all of you who are present were at our annual meeting, so you're aware of most of the large things that we're working on. But I can tell you, you mentioned housing a little earlier. Right now, we've got somewhere around 1,000 housing units in some phase of development. So that's exciting. That's the most we've had in the pipeline in my tenure here, which is now almost 13 years. So that's encouraging. They can't get built quickly enough, but at least we have them in the funnel now. If we don't put them in, they for certain never come out the other end. Our big challenges, again, as we talked about at the annual meeting, workforce is a huge challenge. We've got somewhere around 4,000 open positions in the county, less than 300 people who identify as looking for an opportunity, and 12 people on unemployment benefits in the county. So the things you hear about people don't want to work, not accurate. People are working. We have more people employed in Finney County than at any time in the history of our community. We just simply need more people, and obviously housing is going to be a big part of getting those folks into our community. Child care development continues to stay top of mind for us. We do have some really good things happening with those housing units that we talked about. We're helping them, those developers, to design child care facilities within the new housing developments. The hope is obviously that we can get caught up on child care at some point, and then by incorporating that into the housing developments, we'll stay ahead of child care going forward. To that end, I was also asked by Governor Kelly to serve on her Early Childhood Transition Task Force, which is very exciting. The work that task force is going to do relates to how we improve the regulatory environment, how we get more child care up and running within the state of Kansas, and how we support the workers who work in early childhood. So I'm very excited to be asked to serve on that. That task force will take off and start over the next month or so. I'm not sure how many folks are on it, but I was informed last week that she has asked me to serve on that. Outside of that, we're working on some big picture planning for agricultural futures and how we get to the next level, protect obviously the baseline of our economy, which is agriculture, and secure that going forward while continuing to diversify some of our industrial projects and such. And you guys mention it just about every time you have a planning session or budget session. We are looking at other ways that we could fund the Economic Development Corporation to reduce the burden on you all. And the chairman did reach out and ask that I have Steve Cottrell work up some rough estimates for county road improvements that could support economic development projects. So we'll be bringing those to you, I think, over the next couple of months, I think is when you're wanting to go over those. Next month. Yep, we'll have those for you. We also have fifth week meetings coming up. May 30th is a fifth week meeting, July 31st and October 30th. So you'll get invitations obviously closer to that. But that's a really nice opportunity for us to get all of our partners in the room so that everybody hears all the information at the same time, and it gives you an opportunity to share as well. And tomorrow, we're working with Newman University to increase four-year degree program opportunities in the community. So Garden City Community College and Newman University will be present tomorrow. We're doing 3 different sessions on different degree programs from 10 to 11:30. We'll have ag business, accounting, and business management. From 11:30 to 1, we'll have computer science, education, criminal justice, and social work. And from 2:30 to 4, we'll have respiratory care, RN to BSN, and sonography. So if employers are interested in being there, we'd love to hear from them and get an idea of if there are other degree programs we need to be looking at and how we could best deliver these programs within the community. And I'm happy to answer any questions you all have.
Do you guys have any questions?
I have a couple, but go ahead.
Go right ahead.
You mentioned childcare, Lana. How is our Third Street project coming along? I know the Maker's Mark probably almost ready to open, but is the state helping or are they dragging us out again?
Well, we're still in the process of licensing, so, been
timetable
about
guesses?
6 weeks now that we've had that started. They told us at the time to expect up to 90 days, so we should be bumping up against that. Hopefully, we're getting close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last week, I pulled into Hunter's Glen along about 4:30 in the afternoon, near quitting time, and was waylaid by the boss. He's wanting to know who's in there looking around. But they're making significant progress, and they're, looks to me like you're gonna have fourplexes ready for occupancy very soon on, so that was good to see. Also, I want to make a comment. I appreciate this, and I hope this is a monthly update that we can put on our agenda so that we can hear from you. So,
Yeah, and just as a reminder, you all have my number. You all know where my office is. You are all welcome there at any time. Obviously, there are things related to economic development that we can't share openly, but you are elected officials. We have never kept a secret from you, so we're happy to have you come by or call anytime you have questions about what we're doing. We'd love to have you involved.
we're going to have, I think, a discussion about this a bit later, are we not?
We're gonna have, some planning,
Yeah.
and
But
speaking of
I
that,
appreciate
planning,
it, Lon, I really do.
Thank you.
speaking on planning, just to kind of give you a time frame, we meet with department heads in a work session April 6th, I believe, and I would like to have an idea of some ballpark figure on the roads for economic development prior to April 6th, so that those can be included into our goals and expectations. I want to set goals and expectations for the budgeting process, and we're going to do that as soon as we meet with the department heads April 6th. So there's not much time after that. So I would like to have the road concept and some basic element costs prior to April 6th.
Sure.
That gives you a timeline with Steve. And for those who don't know who Steve is, Steve Cottrell is a former city engineer, but he's also an employee now of EcoDevo to help with the engineering side of structure.
He just has one fault. He graduated from Nebraska University.
I see. Anything else, Lon?
I don't have anything else.
Thank you for your monthly update. We'll continue. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is the quarterly grant budget amendment report and its signatory approval.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here seeking signatory approval for FY '22 unexpended funds for our adult community corrections to apply to the salary and benefits line item in our FY '23 budget. We have not received FY '22 unexpended funds for a couple of years now, so this is pretty exciting that KDOC is applying those funds back to us. So do you have any questions for me?
If I'm understanding it correctly, it's spend it or lose it.
Spend it or lose it. We have to spend it by June 30th of this year.
And in a nutshell, you're requesting that we spend it and invest in our employees, correct?
Correct.
Any other comments?
Does this need a motion
This-
to allow you to use it in the budget for salaries?
Yes, Commissioner.
If that's the need, I'll offer the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to award 25,259.37 to allow the administrator to utilize these funds for enhancements for salaries for employees. It's been moved and seconded to approve that. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to hear from the plasma cutter bid. Melvin Wilson, the fleet coordinator.
Good morning, Melvin Wilson, Public Works Fleet Coordinator. The Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and approve awarding the bid to Airgas USA LLC for the purchase of a plasma cutter. The Public Works Department advertised for plasma cutter bids on January the 26th, 2023. Bids were opened at 10:15 a.m. on February 10th, 2023 at the Public Works office. 2 bids were received from Airgas USA LLC for $6,711.09 and Lambton Welding for $7,191.02. However, the bid from Lambton Welding included added consumables that were not called for in the bid specifications. Without the added consumables, the bid for Lambton Welding is $6,704.02. Airgas USA LLC is our current provider for oxygen and gas cylinders. The board may accept the bid from Airgas USA LLC. The board may accept the bid from Lambton Welding. The board may reject all bids. Staff recommends alternative 1.
Questions, commissioners?
Are these consumables anything that you could have used or go to use anyway?
We would use them, yes. Consumables are made up actually of 4 different components. So there's an air tube, an electrode, a swirl tube, and a snap ring. They create a cartridge that goes on the business end of the torch, so to speak, where the cutting is happening.
Do you have those already in stock, or do you gonna have?
We do not. We would have to purchase them if we needed more. A consumable has a lifespan about 3 to 4 hours cutting, but this particular machine will cut 20 inches per minute. So an hour of cutting would be about 100 foot. So around 300 foot of cutting from each consumable.
Any other questions, Dawn?
I guess it just seems to me if you need these parts to make this cutter work, you're gonna have to buy them sooner or later. Do you have any idea whether Airgas is gonna give you a competitive bid compared to?
I believe that they are the same price from Airgas and Lambton.
Look at how close those bids are when you get down to the bare product.
Which leads me to my question, is Airgas providing you the service that you like?
Yes, they do.
And is that in part the reason for the recommendation?
Yes, sir, it is.
Right.
After hearing that, Mr. Chairman, I move we accept alternative 1 and purchase the plasma cutter from Airgas USA.
And I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to purchase from Airgas, alternative number 1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, we'll hear from Kevin Thomas. He has 4 items in a row, noxious weeds. We have a 2023 Northwest Management Plan, Northwest Kansas Department of Transportation Agreement, 2023 herbicide bid, and 2022 annual report. Sir, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Welcome, and which one of these do you want to address?
We can go right down the order with management plan first.
Fire away.
I need to have the signatures from the Board of County Commissioners to approve this management plan. It's one of the it's required by this Kansas Department of Ag. And it basically goes over for 2023, what we're gonna be doing, what we're looking for, and all that, so.
Debbie, do you have the plan that you want us to sign? This isn't gonna take very long, I don't think. Can we see that, please?
And you've all had a chance to look it all over and everything, correct?
Yeah, are you seeing some of the numbers of the ragweed, thistle going down, or is it pretty steady year to year?
This year, the musk thistle went down because of the drought.
You think it's gonna pop back up?
It made it a little easier on our part. Next year, if we get early spring rains and stuff, we could see that. Because we only sprayed probably around 22 acres of musk thistle this year. So,
And the other question I had, I noticed we still do the prairie dog thing, which is great. Do you have kickback on some of the producers not letting you treat prairie dogs?
no, we don't have anybody. We did, one person did for like 3 years, and the town kind of got out of hand, and so
I've kind of.
we went in there. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's why I ask. Okay. Mr. Chairman, if you need it, I will offer the motion to approve the 2023 management plan. I authorize the chair to sign.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the plan as offered on the agenda and as recommended. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. I have signed the 2023 plan. Would you proceed with the KDOT agreement?
Just asking the board to, well, the chair, to sign the KDOT agreement. This is I call it a contract, but it's agreement to take care of all their noxious weeds on all their state properties. Mostly just the main highways, Highway 83, 156, et cetera. So we sprayed about 500 and some acres of bindweed last year, but 60 acres of Johnson grass, so it wasn't very much.
Is this plan flexible for the increase of cost of chemicals and stuff? Do they cover that?
Yeah, they pay equipment, labor, and the cost of the equipment, or the chemical. And I raised that to $60 per labor and $60 on equipment per hour.
They agree to the raise, Kevin?
Pardon?
They're agreeable to the raise of the cost?
I have to get it signed first, and then
Mr. Chairman,
they'll sign it, hopefully.
this being kind of a regular contract, has been for years, I'll offer a motion to approve it for the next year.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 2023 Northwest Management Plan and the Northwest KDOT agreement. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have the 2023 herbicide bid and the 2022 Northwest Annual Report.
I'm asking the commissioners to approve the bids for 3 vendors due to availability of the chemical. We've been told that it could be, we may have to buy 1,000 gallon or 500 gallon from Van Diest and another 500 from someplace else. Most of the bids are pretty close as far as price, but I would like to be able to approve all 3 bids and be able to purchase wherever I need to. So, and we'll purchase all that all at once. We'll have that all in stock to start the year.
Yeah, are you picking and choosing from each 3, or are you picking one supplier?
I'd like to be able to buy from all 3 vendors if it's possible. Some of them are a little higher, a little lower. It just varies, so.
Yes, sir.
Kevin, over the years, we've had discussion about inventory. Are you able to keep adequate inventory with the budget that you have?
Last year for chemical sales, we ran out.
So you haven't run out of anything and not been able to get it when you...
Well, once we approve these, then I buy everything all at once, and
Okay.
it pretty much eats the budget because of the price of these too. So,
Mr. Chairman, I'd offer a motion to approve the 2023 herbicide bid as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 2023 herbicide bid as submitted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Annual report.
This is the annual report that goes to Kansas Department of Ag. There's a financial summary I need to have you guys sign. Hopefully you looked through it all, and it's the same as the management plan. It's an annual report. It shows the surveys we do. It's all in there. It shows what we spray, what we sell, everything, so.
Chairman, I move that we approve the appropriate annual report for the coming year and authorize the chair to sign.
Is there a second to approval of the 2022 annual report?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 2022 annual report. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Got them all done?
I'm done with my part. I'm waiting on the rest.
Well,
Robert, when are our meetings in March, the 6th and 20th? As soon as we get our paperwork done, would this be a good time, Mr. Jones, to take a break?
you want me to hurry, do you?
No, I just said, would it be a good time to take a break after we
Yeah,
get
that
our
would be-
paperwork done?
That would be great. All right, we'll be in recess till 9:30.
The next item on the agenda is board governance, the 2024 Finney County budget. It seems awfully early in the year. It's February, about next year's budget. But this year, I guess you guys voted me to be chairman, so we're going to talk about setting a work schedule. We have meetings in March on the 6th and the 20th. I would like to have a commission workshop meeting after the regular session on the 20th to help develop those goals in budgeting for 2024. We won't publish or determine those goals until after we meet with the department heads on April 6th. April 6th will be a pretty long session, hearing from all the department heads and elected officials. Then we will publish our goals for budgeting and goals for the county after that April 6th meeting. Will it work for the commissioners that are present to have an extended work session on the 20th of March?
Yep.
Do we have a choice, sir?
Not really,
I didn't think so.
but I'd like to hear from you if we,
No, that's fine.
I mean, if we
Perfectly
got
fine.
vacations planned, we ought to,
Work to do, so.
okay. All right, I'll make a special effort to contact the other two individually to let them know that we're gonna have the work session on the 20th. Regular meeting on the 6th will be a regular agenda. Robert, do you see anything else? All right, very good. All right, we're gonna go right into staff reports, and we'll start with the administrator, sir.
Very good, just a few updates, some various meetings with CVB on 2023 events, meetings with Chamber, Governmental Affairs meeting as well. Safety and security review with the departments went on last week, and we're moving forward in that process. Attended the Sales Tax Committee meeting that was following last meeting. And I think Trista will probably give an update on sales tax as well. And meeting with Commerce Bank on some of the various projects. We had involved with some of the department heads as well as we start going down that road on construction and major purchases here in the future. So,
All right,
any questions of me?
commissioners?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you. County Counselor?
Really have just been working on some various different projects. We do have some ongoing litigation that I am requesting a executive session to be able to talk about, as that would be more privileged information.
Then I do have a question for you on tax sale. I know that prior minutes suggested that we were working on that. What's the timeline on a tax sale?
For the tax sale, it was my understanding that Ms. Lovemeyer was probably ready to go about the time that she left her position as county counselor back at the end of November. And looking through things, it kind of looks like most of it's not ripe at this point, and we're going to have to start the process again with the abstracts. I believe those were completed back in August and would need to be looked at again. I'm not sure if those can just be updated or if they have to be completely redone, but there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done for that at this point.
All right, well, I think from the chair's position, Ms. Schartz, that it's awful easy for people to get in the habit of not paying their taxes if there's not going to be enforcement. And so I think
Correct.
that enforcement is a priority. I don't know how the other commissioners feel, but it's not to be punitive, but rather it's to encourage everyone to pay their taxes. I know I pay mine. Any other comments? All right, thank you. All right. Annual sales tax report. Madam Treasurer?
Good morning. I'm Trista Joyce, County Treasurer. What you have in front of you is an overview of sales tax revenue received by Finney County in 2022. So a quick note about sales tax. It typically takes 2 months from the time the tax is paid at the point of purchase until the tax is remitted back to the taxing entity. For example, in February of 2023, we will receive tax paid at the point of purchase in December of 2022. So just following along the report, so Finney County currently levies a total of 1.3% in sales and use tax. These are broken down into a 0.5% general operating sales tax, a 0.25% sales tax, which was used for the construction of the Correction Services Center. All debt associated with this project was collections were sufficient to satisfy that debt by June 30th of 2022, so that sales tax did cease at that time. As of July 1st of 2022, a 0.25% sales tax designated for infrastructure improvements and property tax stabilization took effect. In 2022, the total collection amount for this new sales tax was $475,191.86. The next sales tax is a 0.25% sales tax for the purpose of building and road maintenance. And then the last sales tax levied by Finney County is a 0.3% sales tax, which is used to finance 4 capital projects in conjunction with the City of Garden City. These projects are enhancements to Lee Richardson Zoo, improvements to Jenny Barker Road, the construction of an indoor shooting range, and the construction and operation of a 3rd fire station, which will also act as a satellite EMS station. So overall collections for 2022 increased by $1,384,300.94, or 19% over 2021. A large portion of this can be attributed to a large receipt in February of 2022, which is in relation to an abnormal collection and use tax. This type of collection is not expected to reoccur. So when normalized collections for 2022 increased about 6% over 2021. So the following pages in the report outline the details of each sales tax, including historical collections. And so I'd like to draw your attention to the section which outlines the interlocal projects sales tax. Included in this section is the annual report from the Sales Tax Oversight Committee. And this report does give more an in-depth description of the financing activities in relation to the projects for that 0.3% sales tax, and also a status update of those projects. So following this, you'll also find the resolutions and or the ballot questions in relation to each of these initiatives. Does anybody have any questions for me?
It's just an incredible year on sales tax revenue for us. It's all new records, and it continues to show the economic vitality of our region.
Absolutely.
Something that we need to continue to work on.
I agree.
Anything else for the treasurer?
I
Thank
just
you.
appreciate all the graphs and reports this month is great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Public Works update. Curtis?
Curtis Logsdon, Finney County Public Works Director. Do you want me to read the report, or would you like me just to
Give us the highlights,
answer
and then
questions?
we'll see if we got any questions.
Well, I don't know if the way I have it prepared, I'm gonna have to give you the whole document. Last year, Curtis Logsdon was hired as the Finney County Public Works Director. The first thing he did was he met one-on-one with all Public Works personnel and asked each employee what issues they thought needed to be addressed and what improvements they thought the department needed. For the next 6 months, he just blended in and observed the operating procedures that were already in effect and made notes on inefficiencies and on items he felt needed to be addressed. At the beginning of the fourth quarter of last year, the department was restructured into a structure that provides for specialized positions rather than a department made up of jacks of all trades. The Public Works Department has been split into 4 divisions: the Development Administrative Division, the Road and Bridge Division, the Right-of-Way Division, and the Fleet Division. By improving leadership and applying constant and consistent supervision, we intend to manage the department with a team concept. To effectively address the identified issues, this department needs to raise the level of commitment, accountability, responsibility, and reliability needed to meet the needs of Finney County residents for providing safe, effective, and efficient services. Overall, this restructuring will drastically improve the level of professionalism, leadership, and accountability, and we've been managed with a more proactive approach rather than a reactionary approach. High goals, but realistic goals are being set for each division. Greatly enhanced training provided by the new training and safety specialist. Policies and procedures which address safety and operational efficiencies and identify the most cost-effective methods of such will be the essential tools to help achieve these goals. The overall goal of the director is to have the Finney County Public Works Department become a nationally accredited public works department. With this accreditation, all divisions within Public Works must become certified through the American Public Works Association, which will recognize Finney County Public Works as one of the finest in the state and in the nation. The Development and Administrative Division provides increased oversight of development projects, administers financial and budget management, personnel management, departmental compliance, internal audits, payments, fee collection, develops and administers grants, coordinates department meetings, and prepares meeting agenda and minutes. The Road and Bridge Division is responsible for providing maintenance activities to county roads and bridges that have been accepted for maintenance by the Board of County Commissioners. They provide resources for the upgrades and maintenance of gravel, chip seal, paved roads, bridges, and drainage structures throughout the county. The Right-of-Way Division administers contract management, project planning and procurement, utility management, MUTCD compliance, GIS management, infrastructure management, right-of-way use, permit management and inspection. Noxious weeds and sewer districts are also within this division. The Fleet Management Division provides acquisition, procurement, repair, and maintenance services for all county vehicles and equipment. They develop annual and long-term vehicle and equipment capital replacement program, procurement, storage, and distribution of parts, oil products, gasoline, and diesel fuel. The replacement of vehicles and equipment, development of specifications before purchase, and the submission of requisitions for procurement. The new structure has been staffed with the minimum personnel. It is anticipated that after the department has been fully staffed, the department could be making additional personnel requests. The department will continually be fine-tuning the department to identify areas which will improve operational efficiencies. In the administrative department this past year, or in the administrative division, besides the restructuring this past year, I attended the NACO conference in Aurora, Colorado, attended the Rural Water Conference in Wichita, and the KEC conference in Overland Park. This past year, the department interviewed 26 employees, was successful in obtaining some fine employees. However, we're still 13 positions short.
How many total employees do you have, Curtis?
We are budgeted 41 positions. Right now, we are, I believe, at 29.
Very good, thank you. Please continue.
That could be off just one or so. The Finney County Public Works Department took steps to improve its practices by hiring a new training and safety specialist in December of 2022. Before the end of the year, the training and safety specialist worked on scheduling training classes for 2023 and also received OSHA certification. Additionally, in 2023, the Finney County Public Works will be hosting classes for the Kansas Local Technical Assistance Program, which is also known as LTAP, that will be offered to other agencies within the community. Within the next 5 quarters, all road and bridge personnel will receive Road Scholar certifications. Through this position, we plan on being the local training provider for western Kansas counties. So when we have these trainings here at the county, we will be inviting all of the western counties here to have training for themselves also. The development portion.
Questions from the
Yeah,
commissioners thus
yeah.
far? Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe we ask a question or two as we go along. On your, the training director, that's a new one on me. Is that no longer is part of emergency management work safety? Robert, or is this an additional?
This is an addition. This is specific to Public Works. We still have, and still have a monthly Safety Committee meeting, and they work in conjunctions with that. This also provides safety and so forth, actually at the site, making sure.
Okay, my encouragement would be to offer the training not only to surrounding counties, but folks within the county, the cities, the school districts, the college, and so on as it applies, because forklift training applies no matter who you work for. This is a good example. So I've not seen a training schedule, so we don't know quite what you're training. So that would be nice at some point if that training officer or training person had a training schedule, so we might stop in and take a look at how the classes are going.
Okay, we can do that for you with no problem. We have a training schedule set up for this summer already. Next year, it's going to greatly expand, though.
All right, thank you.
In development, Finney County saw a significant increase in development in 2022. To better serve the community, Finney County Public Works hired a development administrative coordinator to oversee development projects within the county and to be a liaison for community agencies involved in the development process. The most significant development project within the county in 2022 was Western Kansas Corridor. Western Kansas Corridor is planned to be a commercial and industrial development located directly north of the bypass on the east side of US Highway 83. The first phase of the development began construction in August of 2022. In April 20 of 22, the Board of County Commissioners passed a resolution to establish the Rural Housing Incentive District Program to help combat the community's need for housing and promote residential development in the county. The RHID program is designed to aid developers in building housing within rural communities by assisting in the financing of public improvements. RHIDs within Finney County capture the incremental increase in real property taxes created by a housing development project for up to 15 years. The process to establish an RHID within the county is overseen by the Federal County Public Works Development and Administrative Coordinator. In November of 2022, the Board of County Commissioners established its first RHID. The RHID is for a new residential development known as Randall Estates. Randall Estates is generally located at 9250 North US Highway 83. The developer intends to provide 16 lots for the construction of new single-family homes. The lots within this development vary in size from 2.24 acres up to 6.42 acres, and will have individual wells and septic systems. In addition to Randall Estates, 2 additional developers have expressed interest in utilizing the RHID program for their developments. These 2 developments include the Country Acres Edition and, well, it was the Ponderosa of Southwind Edition, but Ponderosa has been scrapped. The beginning of 2022 started with 2 major snowstorms. The first storm was on the last week of January, and the other one was on the first week of February. 2 salt runs were made to Kannapolis, Kansas during the year. The division's main winter project was to reshape and overlay 5 miles on Critz Road from Holcomb Lane to the Kearney County line. The project took about 3.5 months to complete, and the materials used consisted of 500 cubic yards of gravel, 11,380 cubic yards of fill dirt, 1,700,000 gallons of water, and 2,500 yards of rock and millings mix. Other projects completed included the hauling of gravel to Hodgman County line and 5 miles of parallel road west of Holcomb Lane. The summer projects for 2022 included grading gravel roads, mowing all county roads, patching any damaged areas to asphalt roads, and responding to service calls from citizens. Last year, we were able to keep our main roads in good driving condition, and we were able to mow the whole county twice. Most of our asphalt patching was done to Raceway Road, Mansfield, Old Highway 83, Plymouth Road, and Lear Road. In 2022, the Road and Bridge Division completed 4,346 miles of grading and 2,204 miles of mowing, in addition to snow removal and hauling rock, sand, and water to county roads. During the county's annual spring cleanup, Road and Bridge employees hauled 33.5 tons of trash to Waste Connections landfill. Fall cleanup ran from September 26th through October 7th, with an additional 35.41 tons of trash. In December, due to significant spikes in the price of diesel fuel, the Road and Bridge Division was forced to park most of its equipment and was limited to responding to service calls. The table below in your packet provide a summary of the projects that was completed and materials used in 2022.
Let's talk about 23, please.
In 2023, by using specialized slope meters, the Road and Bridge Division is going to begin establishing the A-crown of roads by taking out the parabolic crowns, which are more commonly used in road maintenance. In the A-crown, potholes do not form, and the proper drainage of the traveled roadway begins there. Although many agencies are aware that the A-crown is the proper crown for road maintenance, many agencies do not correct their grading techniques and they stick with the parabolic crown. The problem with parabolic crowns is that at the highest point of the crown, flatness occurs and allows potholes and ruts to begin forming.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Who decided that we were gonna change how we grade our roads?
I did.
Okay, and what engineering studies were consulted in order to determine that we should change the method by which we are grading the roads?
From past engineering studies that I've been involved with, I've been doing roads like this, changing roads to this pattern for upwards to 30 years.
Any feedback from the farmers and ranchers and people that use these county roads that a different methodology of grading them is acceptable? Did we get any taxpayer feedback before we made the change?
No. We haven't actually started making the change yet. That begins in March of this year, is when we start changing to the A-crowns. The A-crown, if you go to AASHTO, you go to any national book, the A-crown road is the crown that is recommended by all engineering firms. The parabolic crown is the crown that counties got involved with years ago because it was the cheaper way to grade the roads and to get more miles of road done in a year.
Would you explain to the public who's listening what the difference is between the two crowns?
Well, parabolic crown, basically, you end up with a curve in the road surface. Okay, your grader blades always end up with a curve in them, and when you have that curve at the top of your crown, there's a flat spot up there, and that is typically where your potholes and washboards and stuff begin first. The idea on a good road is to get the water off as soon as possible, and the A-crown allows that to happen. Right now, our crowns are parabolic, and we are running only 1 or 2% parabolic crown, so basically our roads are flat. So when moisture is on them, the traffic is hitting that moisture on the road, and it's tearing the roads up quick. When you have the A-crown, which is the way that a road is engineered in any subdivision, any state highway, everything is established with the A-crown. But the A-crown, you get, we can take a road that we're grading maybe once a week right now, and by going to an established A-crown with a little bit steeper slope, we can change one time a week to 1 or 2 times a year.
I appreciate that. I just might point out, a lot of our roads didn't even have a crowd, so any crowd was welcome. I appreciate that
He
explanation.
didn't explain the A-crown, is that?
An A-crown is totally, it's just like you imagine. It's got a sharp crown on it, and it's totally just 2 different planes.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
In 2022, the Finney County Public Works Right-of-Way Division had a variety of projects, including the crack sealing and chip sealing of county roads. The following projects were completed in 2022.
See that, and going forward, planning for 2024, is your department able to assist in road development and the itemized or projected construction, or is that something we're gonna need to bid out?
To do this ourselves,
Is your department able to do it itself, such as enhancement on Mansfield Road?
no. Mansfield, I'm not, the repaving of it,
Well, or the enhancement on the road to make it commercially,
we don't have the workforce to be able to do that, Chairman. We have very limited personnel, and all we have is enough to really keep up with the maintenance responsibilities that we have, and even then, we're struggling keeping up on that.
let's go to 22 sign maintenance, please.
Last year, we replaced 218 signs, replaced 158 posts, and then ordered 300. In 2022, utilities received, Public Works received 74 right-of-way permits and 23 septic tank permits. We did 232 locates for Sewer District 1, 152 locates for Sewer District 2, and 112 utility locates for Sewer District 3. Sewer District 1, the lift station and pumps ran this past year without any problems. There are a few gravity lines that were identified in the cleaning and televising that we had done that will require repair work. The 2 pumps will be updated with new pumps and valves with the ARPA funds we received, and the old pumps will be used as spares. There will also be a generator set at that location for backup purposes. Sewer District 2, one of the 2 pumps in Lift Station 3 had to be sent to Great Bend for repair. Lift Station 1 was plugged several times throughout the year due to wipes. The pumps were modified and the problems were alleviated. Sewer District number 2 has a total of 11 pumps and valves that will be replaced with ARPA funds. There will be 7 generators also installed, and the 2 cells will be dredged. Sewer District 3, the bid for cleaning, inspecting, and televising was let in September of 2022 and was awarded to HydroClean LLC. HydroClean cleaned and videotaped the gravity lines and lift stations at Towns Riverview and Towns Riverview South. The contractor will return to clean the force mains in spring of 2023, and that's because the temperatures ended up getting too cold for him. On May 16th of 2022, the county held a hearing and passed a resolution to dissolve the Northwest Development Industrial District and assume all assets of the district, including the existing sanitary sewer, lift station, and infrastructure. On June 7th, 2022, an interlocal agreement was signed between the city and the county for the city to continue to provide cooperative services to the county for sanitary sewer collection and treatment for Sewer District 4. In July, county staff started checking the manholes and lift station. There were numerous issues with air relief valves, gate valves, and pumps within the lift station, and it became obvious that the entire system had been neglected for a long time. The cost of temporary repairs was $11,929 and was paid for and absorbed out of the road and bridge fund. This system will be completely replaced with pumps, wet well, panel, valves, and force main this year with the ARPA funds. Last year for noxious weed, the Noxious Weed Division treated 167 acres for prairie dogs. When the program first started in 1990, the division was treating a total of 8,000 acres. The program has been a great success thanks to the Board of County Commissioners for keeping the program in place. In the winter and spring months, the Noxious Weed Division spent their time checking and treating prairie dog towns across Finney County and trimming trees within the road right-of-way. Employees attended the CWDAK annual conference. It is I don't know exactly what that stands for, but it is the state weed division. Chemical sales started in May and ended at the end of August. This was earlier than normal due to the increase in chemical costs. Noxious weed sprayed pre-emergent for fairgrounds, sewer districts, and road and bridge. Throughout the year, the division treated musk thistle, Canada thistle, county roads for bindweed and Johnson grass, and the KDOT highways. Upgrades were made to the noxious weed building per K-Work specification inspections. The upgrades included installing a permanent eye wash station, fixing emergency floodlights, fixing exit signs, and adding some signage and kickboard to the mezzanine. Fleet Services added a new tire machine to the shop last year and the following vehicles to its fleet. We added a 2022 Peterbilt water truck. We added a 2022 semi-truck. We obtained 2 3/4 ton Ford pickups, super cabs, 1 3/4 ton Ford pickup, a crew cab, and then another 3/4 ton super cab pickup. In 2022, the fleet division performed work ranging from preventative maintenance and minor repairs to component repairs. This work included units from the county, from other county departments, and service calls performed in the field. And in the chart, there is the overview of the services that they provided. Last year on the 2022 fuel usage, we used 19,095 gallons of unleaded fuel. We used 15,319 gallons of clear diesel and 53,326 gallons of dyed diesel. For the 2023 projects that we are looking at, we're planning on doing a mill and overlay to Old Highway 83, Annie Shear, and West Lake Road. These were the ones that were really planned for last year, but because of the price of asphalt, we decided it was better to wait a year to let the asphalt prices come down. And then we are looking at doing Anderson and Buffalo Jones mill and overlays also. We're gonna, in spring, we're gonna begin our road building with the A-Crown, and we're gonna start providing some dust suppression to the higher traveled gravel roads, the ones that has dwellings on it. We're planning on building a new lift station in Forest Main.
Commissioner Drees?
Yes.
On the dust suppression, you might make note that if the public has once in front of their farmstead that they need to contact you, do you have a deadline on when you need to order your products for these?
No, we do not have a
On your list?
They can call us if they want to get on the list. We do not have a deadline right now because I will be ordering several times throughout the spring for the dust suppression. We're going to put more down than what has been done in the past. And the main reason for that is that in conjunction with the increased slopes, the A-Crown, and the dust suppression, again, I can take that road that's being graded once a week to only need to be graded 1 or 2 times a year.
The reason I ask, I have several individuals in my district that like to use this product.
And it could be, I know of a few individuals last year, and the roads that I think that we're going to be doing ourselves, they won't have to participate in, I believe. But if Citizens Road is not being done by the county, they are welcome to call us though, and we can still have that done for them at their cost.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're going to build a new lift station in Forest Main in the northern part of the county, which is going to be the new sewer district 4. We're updating the sewer district 1, 2, and 3 sewer districts. We're going to begin the update of subdivision regs and land use regs this year. And then we're going to develop right-of-way use and access control regs and permitting procedures. That is the overall plans for this year.
Good. On items 4, 5, and 6, the commission would sure like to see those before they are implemented. So,
Oh, no problem. To be honest with you, Chairman, what I like doing is I like having several open houses because I'm going to want feedback from economic development. I'd like to see feedback from other organizations on those.
right, and we're going to have executive session here shortly on current litigation, and I can't speak about it, but this is an area where we're going to have to be responsive to what the courts do. So keep that in mind as you begin this process on 4, 5, and 6 this year.
Okay,
You'll need to be working closely with the county counselor.
okay. No problem at all. Is there any other questions? I plan on giving you guys one of these reports at the beginning of each year to recap the last year. What you have coming in a few minutes is I have my January report. So each month, you're going to be getting a report just like this now that gives you all the updates month to month through the year.
All right, very good. And we will now turn to the monthly report, which I assume will be much more of a summary.
Well, it's kind of the same thing, but it's a lot shorter. Okay, this is the January report for Public Works Department.
Okay, we have read it, so highlights, please, and then we need to be moving on.
Well, on January 4th, a final inspection was done with Finney County Public Works and City Public Works, the Garden City Public Works, for the joint project we have on Farmland Road. The contract went pretty well. There's things that the contractor has to come back on and correct this spring. So we actually did a final walkthrough, but there's a list of items that they have to come back and redo, and so we will end up having to have another walkthrough now after they have made fixes on that. We in January, we had 4 interviews for equipment operators. On January 24th, at the Public Works Admin Building, we had a meeting with Neighborhood Development Services concerning items that are on the interlocal agreement between the county and the city. We are in further discussion on those items. In January, Finney County Public Works employees attended MSHA new miner training,
What is MSHA? Help us out.
Mine Safety Health Administration. They are the ones that are over all pits.
They come out and shut you down.
They are a lot tougher than OSHA. And that's mainly because of the amount of deaths that do happen in mines throughout the year. We also had new miner recertification through MSHA. All of our employees attended recertification training for defensive driving and first aid and CPR. Our training and safety specialists updated the MSHA book and Part 46 mine-specific training book for our pit. We started a new procedure for changing cutting edges on graders. To make note, the way that we have been changing cutting edges on graders here is one that is extremely hard on backs and individuals. And we had them trained on the proper way to change these blades on the graders. They don't have to get underneath the graders and work bent bent over and stuff now, they can put them on standing up, a lot less hard on the individuals. We are going to begin hosting the 7 Road Scholars classes for LTAP, as I had noted in my last report. January, we saw a decrease in development projects. The developer for Ponderosa at Southwind Edition decided to cancel the development project after discovering there would be no water supply for them. So the project will no longer be seeking to establish an RHID. Country Acres Phase 1, the road and drainage infrastructure drawings were approved through the site plan review process. This development is proposed to connect to the city water supply. The city water department has requested the developer to provide new utility infrastructure plans to match the changes made to the road and drainage infrastructure plans. Randall Estates, due to increased construction and material costs, the developer is requesting that the HRD development plan be amended to reflect the inflated costs. The developer is working on gathering new cost estimates. Once staff receives the cost estimates, the amendment will be brought before the board. The second submittal was sent out for review on January 30th. And there's no new updates on Western Kansas Corridor. The Road and Bridge Division through January worked on reshaping 4 miles of the community road north of 156. The Public Works Department prepared a portion of EMS's driveway that we had concrete for them. Their entrance into their shop was real bad and had to be redone. Then we graded 197 miles of road during the month of January, and then we also had snow removal. The right-of-way division updated the school bus route map. We updated the school bus routes. We met with the school districts and made sure that we knew what routes were being maintained or needed to be maintained. The traffic portion of Public Works, technicians spent time making a lot of street signs and drilling angle iron to install them. In January, we replaced 49 signs, 13 posts. For utilities in January, we received 11 right-of-way permits. There were no septic tank permits for this month. And then the chart below shows the amount of locates that we did in the sewer districts. Sewer District 1 had a pump in the lift station showing seal failure, and it was replaced the 3rd week of January. The other pump was taken to Great Bend for repairs. Sewer District 2, Sewer District 3, everything has been running normally. The Northwest Industrial District lift station, Western Kansas Corridor made a connection to the lift station. When they made that connection, both pumps were running very high hours. They were basically running full time. To alleviate that issue, we had WKC Connection cap off their line, the sewer line coming into our lift station. That way we could increase the floats and the depth in the pit without totally filling up their manholes and sewer lines. Month of January, Noxious Weed basically was working on treating the prairie dog towns. Fleet services in January has been real busy. You can see in the charts what they did in the month of January. In the January fuel usage, unleaded was 1,324 gallons of unleaded, clear diesel 1,180 gallons, and dyed diesel 4,001 gallons. And then below that, you can see the amount of fuel that was purchased. Any questions?
Nope. I would suggest that next month's report be more brief. The annual report, I cut you off on last time, and I understand that. May have been an error, but annual report, don't need a monthly report with the annual report next time. So next month, make it more in a summary, please, and we'll be more efficient with our time. Questions for Curtis?
No.
Anything else, Mr.
I don't think so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Upcoming meetings and events.
You got,
Got a couple left, don't you?
Oh, I have department monthly reports. I'm sorry.
McKenzie's,
Mackenzie, excuse me, please.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development and Administrative Coordinator. So I just have a few brief updates for you this morning. One is for Country Acres. As a reminder, this is the development that is just east of town, east of Garden City, off of Marion Farmland. So last week we received the new water plans. We won't be reviewing those, but those will be reviewed by the city water department. In addition to that, I don't really have any other updates for the two other developments that we have going on right now, but just to provide you with some information, last Thursday was the monthly Planning Commission meeting. There is, the Neighborhood Development Services Department did receive a request to amend the Finney County zoning regulations for metal storage / shipping containers within the county. Basically, that amendment will allow, instead of 5 to 40 acres, to allow for shipping containers to be used for storage on a permanent basis with a conditional use permit from the Board of Zoning Appeals. They're proposing to change that from 5 to 2 acres, so it'd be from 2 to 40 acres. And then anything under 2 acres can only have something, or can only have a metal shipping container there for storage on a temporary basis. So they did choose to table that request, and they're gonna be relooking at that next month.
Mr. Chairman, I was at that meeting as well, and I probably a little premature, this is the Planning Commission's deal, but I'm a little skeptical about, they're relatively wonderfully cheap facilities for storage, but within a 2-acre outside or center perimeter, you can't make those things very pretty. And I just don't know if that's a great idea, but that's just my thoughts ahead of time. It's interesting to see how the Planning Commission moves forward with this recommendation.
Yes, sir.
could we respectfully disagree as commissioners? To me, the shipping container makes more sense on 2 acres than the $89 flimsy tin shed that you get at Walmart, because it's gonna be there when the wind quits blowing, and some of those can be decorated pretty keenly. I can show you some that have been painted to the colors of that match the surrounding buildings and so on. They look nice, so.
Like I say, it might be an interesting discussion with the Planning Commission.
It might be. So they can put up, like I said, they can go to Walmart and buy a less than $100 building that won't stay there. That's okay. So anyway, you also had a request for siting of some windmills, did you not?
Yes, and we are working with that developer right now.
So appreciate your help.
Well, I'm sure the actual zoning change will come back to us for approval, but in the meantime, keep us informed. nice, colorful discussion by my commissioners to my left. I won't express an opinion today. We'll just wait and see what you guys.
Take sides, Jerry, go ahead.
Not going to, but in your advice to the planning commission and ultimately into the zoning regulations, can you stack them? Can you bridge them? You need to address all of those issues with regard to these kind of units.
And we will definitely look into that. I know the Neighborhood Development Services Department has done a really good job of doing some research on this, so I'm gonna be collaborating with them.
Good, because if one is okay on 2 acres, is 10 okay on 2 acres? And is it 10 vertically, 10 stacked? I think those need to be defined. The more clearly we define our zoning regulations, the more likely they are to be enforced. So saith our new county counselor.
Mr. Chairman, need to add one more thing. Out toward Doyne's farm, I think there's still a couple of those that were located apart with a driveway in between and then a roof built over them and made a nice little shop that way with storage on either side, so.
They got a conditional use on that.
I don't know what they have, but if they were there, are they still out your way?
As we'll learn here a little bit in executive session, our conditional use issues are county issues that we'll need to address very carefully.
Yeah.
Mackenzie, you'll need to keep in touch with Ms. Schartz as this develops.
I will.
Anything else?
That's all I have for you this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now did I jump the agenda? Upcoming meetings and events? Is there anything else?
I think that list is on your agenda, is that not correct? I don't have anything pending for this week. As a reminder, April 25th through the 27th, you do have opportunity to attend the Kansas County Commissioners Association Spring Conference. That is in Hayes this year.
Can't hear you.
That's the Kansas County Commissioners Association Spring Meeting is April 25th through the 27th, and that is in Hayes this year. So if you're interested in going to that, let us know. We can get you signed up.
All right. Anything else on events and meetings, Mr. Administrator, Robert? No?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, we'll go to commissioners' reports. We'll hear from Commissioner Jones and Commissioner Pishney. I guess we won't. So we'll start with you, Mr. Jones.
I'll be brief. Had a phone call from the individual by the name of Harold Mai with a bonus check for the county, and he, wherever he tried to deposit it, they didn't have a line item, but we got it deposited, so that's taken care of. LAPC, I happened to be sitting in the doctor's office as your meeting began. It was conducted and ended, so would you set those meetings someday other than when I'm at the doctor? Appreciate it. Attended the legislative coffee. That was interesting. And otherwise, I'm not going to report anymore. I think that takes up enough time, so.
Commissioner Dries?
We had a fair board meeting, very active group, very proud of them. They have 4 meetings left between now and the fair. It's getting down to crunch time, and so they're even gonna have a special work session that'll be open to the public. I think the Sunday the 5th, I believe it is, but, they're, making great progress, great things planned for our fair this summer. Attended the Convention Visitors Bureau monthly meeting, kind of a normal meeting. A couple of grants were presented and approved. I did cover the planning meeting, as I mentioned earlier, for lawn, and the legislative coffee. I might point out tonight is the Finney County Conservation District annual meeting, and I also have an economic development and a meeting for lawn again this week, and a Great Plains meeting. So it'll be a busy week.
Right, and you also attended the legislative coffee.
I did do the legislative coffee, thank you.
As did I, and I don't have much else to report for my report this time around. I will say that there's considerable work going on in Topeka, some of it good for counties and for our government, some good for our employees, and some that makes no sense at all. I would encourage you to make sure you keep in touch with our local representatives, Dr. Clifford, Bob Lewis. I think in this, Mr. Francis doesn't have any of Finney County, but Jim Minix certainly has. Scott,
9 counties.
yeah, I think I got them all there. All right. Substantial improvement on the issue of a water plan out of the Water Committee, out of the House. It hasn't got over to the Senate side of the world. It affects all of us greatly with our own GMD3 here in Garden City and Southwest Kansas. So keep attuned to those legislative developments. Ms. Shorts, do you think there is a need for an executive session? Would you explain to the commission the statutory authority for that, and then I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
At this point in time, as I stated earlier, while in my report, there is some pending litigation that is going to fall under attorney-client privilege that needs to be discussed by the board in that executive session. It's non-personnel related.
All right, I know that we have a large number of employees present, and I want not to discourage you, but to understand that I want to conduct this executive session, have the work of the commission done so that we can celebrate your years of service at the end of the meeting. So bear with us when we do this executive session. And the reason for it is to raise you up in recognition at the end of our meeting rather than bifurcate it.
How much time do you need and who needs to be included?
Well, we need the administrator and the county counselor.
And how much time?
Probably up to 15, 20 minutes, just depending on how many questions.
I'm going to limit it to 15 minutes or 17 minutes. But the movement can say whatever time they want, but I want to be back in here at 10:45.
Okay. I'll offer a motion that
Second.
get the parameters there.
All right, it's been moved that we go into executive session for 17 minutes for the purpose of discussing ongoing litigation, attorney-client and privileged under the statute. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're in executive session. We'll be back at 10:45. Executive session.
Want to announce first no action?
I will.
I so move that we come out of executive session.
Okay, I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we come out of executive session. I will confirm that no action was taken in executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're now in regular session. We have an urgent need to take care of a litigation matter. Mr. Jones, do you have a
I have
motion?
a motion, Mr. Chairman. My motion is to file the petition for review with the Kansas Supreme Court on our conditional use case and to employ attorney Linda Lobmeyer to continue as our representative.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded to file the petition for review and ask Linda Lobmeyer to continue her employment on that matter. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So the public has some idea of what we're talking about. A decision was made by local judge, Judge Worst, distinguished jurist, on the case filed by American Warrior against the Board of County Commissioners regarding a conditional use permit in the east side of the county. Judge Worst held in favor of the county. The plaintiffs perfected an appeal to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals issued its decision on February 10th, 2023. It is a three-member panel of the Court of Appeals. It's comprised of two jurists and also Chief Judge Arnold Berger, who filed a 14-page dissent urging the petition for review. In essence, dissenting from the majority decision. We're going to follow the decision of Judge Worse and Judge Berger and invite the Kansas Supreme Court to take up our petition for review. It has to be timely done. That's why it was urgent that we do the executive session. And I thank everyone for being patient with us during that period of time. Now, is there any other business before the commission other than the years of service recognition? All right, in honor of our employees who make things happen for the county, their dedication to service to us, and the years of service that have been made thus far, I have a list, and please hold your applause until I get to the end. And then I'll give the floor to Kelly, have how we're going to handle our recognition of the employees and listen to their supervisors tell us about the particular employees. 8 years of service, Rosa Ibarra. 8 years of service, Oscar Espinoza. 8 years of service, Pamela Emadue. I know I missed that name, sorry. It's close? Wonderful. 8 years, Crystal Dianda. 8 years, Crystal Hoagie. 8 years, Kathleen Abel. 8 years, Doug Peterson. And 8 years, Jesse Vargas. 16 years of service, Vanessa Hahn, Rex Harrison, Trey Phillips, Rick Schwint, Deborah Foote, Larry Jones, County Commissioner, for 16 years. Wow. For 20 years of service, Eva Ashley Crockett, Brett Heckel, Jennifer Rogers, Doug Hare, Sandra Carbajal, Skylar Swartz, Gennaro Espino. 24 years of service, Corey Britton, Alan Knoll, Jeffrey Foreman, Mariano Munoz. Least and not last, or last but not least, 32 years of service, Brian Sherwood, Senior Assistant County Attorney. Kelly, you have the floor. Please tell everyone what we're going to do.
Watch the floor. Good morning. So this morning, excuse me, this morning we're going to recognize the 8/16/24/32. Those will be the KAC awards that they send us certificates and pins for every year. And then after that, we will recognize the employees who have had 20 years of service. And so I will go ahead and have the director come up, and we'll do your whole department. While you're up here, you can say a few things. Again, we're going to do KAC first, and then we'll do the 20-year employees after that. So Jerry, do you want to call the directors up and have a receiving
Yes.
line?
Why don't you go ahead and call them up, please? We'll start with Mike Warren, our sheriff.
Mike Warren.
Welcome to being first. Good book says something about last shall be first, sir. Warren W., sheriff.
Okay, so what are we starting with, 8-year? So who we're starting with?
Sorry, I've got these. There you go.
8 years. So we need, you want to call them all up here at the same time. Rosa and Oscar. Pam is not here with us today. She had a problem with her house, I believe, so couldn't make it. I'll start with Rosa while they're coming up here. Rosa started in our jail division. She transferred to our civil process, and now she's in our records division. What's that? Where she is currently, we just recently promoted her to assistant records, like second in charge of the records division. So Oscar started in the jail patrol. Now he's a sergeant on patrol. He's also part of our joint SWAT team with the Garden City Police Department. Until he's young and buff, he still likes doing that stuff. So congratulations and thank you on your 8 years of service. I believe we have certificates, is that right? Thank you, Oscar. Thank you for everything you do for us. Thank you, Rosa. I told Rosa, she keeps telling me I'm going to quit someday. I said, this is like a 20-year contract. 16 years, is that what we're doing next? I need Vanessa Hahn. Is she the only one? Brett's 20. Vanessa started in our jail too. That's where everybody gets to start. She went to patrol. She's now investigations, and she just recently became promoted to the investigation sergeant. So thank you, Vanessa, for everything you do. That's another 20-year contract. Thank you. And who are we doing, to 20-year, or are we going to do 24? 24, that I believe that's Mariano. Is he the only one, right? Yep. Mariano also started in the jail where he met his wife, who works for us too. He went to patrol. He is now the lieutenant of the patrol division. So if you have any problems with the patrol, call Mariano. Thank you very much for what you do.
How many more years on that contract, Sheriff?
That ought to be good for another 20. He used to be a canine handler too. We retired a canine, and so now he has to take care of that. So he needs another 20 years.
What's the name of his dog?
What's your dog? I forgot. What's your dog's name? Dino. Oh, I don't know how I forget that.
And then we're going to do the other KAC ones
Okay, so I'm done for now.
for now.
Okay.
Maria.
Hi, I'm Maria Castillo of the Finney County Appraiser's Office, and I have two. Crystal Dienda has been with the county since January 27th in 2014. She started in a personal property department and has moved over to the residential real estate side. Crystal also has worked her way up to field appraiser 2. She has great customer service, and taxpayers enjoy seeing her at the front desk welcoming them in. Crystal will go above and beyond to help the taxpayers. Crystal also organizes a monthly luncheon for our county administration building.
which I really like that because it's trying to break down the silos between our different offices here in the building. So I really appreciate your customer service and your hard work. Thank you. My next 8 years is Crystal Hoagie. She has been with the county since October 6th of 2014. She came over from dispatch looking for a job that was Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Crystal has worked her way up to a field appraiser 2. She handles all the transfer transactions that get recorded in the Register of Deeds office to make sure that our records have the correct ownership and help us track market sales. Crystal is speedy on the data entry and a gentle soul that she gets along with everyone. I appreciate your work and enjoy having you in the office. Thank you.
Robert, you're next.
Excuse me.
Doug.
Oh, yeah, sure. All right, and you have his awards. Doug, come up. All right. It's not that formal. Doug Peters has been with the county for 8 years. I know you started down there in support and then was made director here about 5 years ago, if I remember correctly. Yep. So, having worked with Doug now for 3 years, I think we've noticed as the IT department has developed and many of the things that we do within IT has developed over the years, and I appreciate Doug taking the initiative to move the county forward in technology. So, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Just wait, let Robert do his, and then I'll call you back. Sorry.
Yep.
Trey.
Oh, yes. Trey. Good morning, Trey. Come up, please. Trey Phillips. Trey is our GIS director, for those of you that don't know, but I would assume you do know Trey. Started out as a technician. 3 years after that, moved into the director's position. Has finally got staff now again. So one of the many advantages of having Trey and his GIS department is that we continue to push the envelope at the county level on utilizing GIS, and I appreciate the fact that Trey, over the years, has become more and more innovative on what we're trying to achieve and so forth. So, Trey, thank you for your years of service. Only 16 years. So, all right, thank you, Trey. Thank you. And then Rex Harris. Mr. Rex Harrison, come on down. Take your time. Once again, Rex has been here for 16 years. Over the years, we've, at least that I've known him here for the last 3 years, we continue to try and push for improvements on facilities and so forth. We revamped the way we budgeted to allow more and more so that he can fix the many things. I know for the first group that went before us here, mostly starting out in the jail, that he and his crew spent an awful lot of time there trying to make your life a little bit easier. But I do want to thank Trey and his group that he has working for him and for the last 16 years. So thank you again, Trey. You guys, excuse me, Rex. I was back on Trey.
Doug, if you want to come say a few words about Jesse.
Jesse is unavailable today, so I will just say that he's been with us through a malware incident, and any number of random projects that we've ever had to deal with. He's been a great and valued employee, and we hope he's here at least 8 more years. So, thank you for the award.
Beth?
Deborah? I actually have two 16-year employees. One is Rick Schwint, and he was working last night, and he referees during the day. So he is a valued employee. He has been a detention officer. Deborah has been with us for 16 years as well. One thing I can say about both of them is they don't just show up for work. They show up to make a difference every day with our youth. So you are appreciated.
I'm loved. Thank you
You
so
are
much.
loved. You are loved.
Thank you.
Kurt? Okay.
Okay, I believe we have two that's been here for 24 years. Jeff Foreman, would you come on up? Corey, you can go ahead and come on up here. Just stand to the side for now. This is Jeff Foreman. Jeff started with Finney County in December of 1998 as a traffic technician. In December of 2006, he became one of our truck drivers. Then in December of 2012, he moved to Equipment Operator 1. In February of 2013, he went to Operator 2. And then in September of last year, he was moved up and promoted to Equipment Operator 3. So he's been here for a total of 24 years. Jeff is one of our guys that works the sand pit for us. And he does an absolute excellent job out there with the other guy that's, I'll be talking to you next. But Jeff, I really, really appreciate you, and I know all the guys do too.
Thank you.
So. Come up, Corey. Big smile, big smile.
That's about all you're going to do.
All right, this is Corey Britton. Corey started with Finney County in July of '98 as a truck driver. In November of '99, Corey became an equipment operator, and then he was moved to the sand plant as an equipment operator. In February of 2012, Corey went to an Operator 3, and since he became an Operator 3, he has been in that position for 11 years. Corey is the one guy at Public Works that Public Works employees believe this guy does walk on water. And there's a little joke to that, but I'm not gonna, we don't need to elaborate on that. But Corey is one fantastic guy, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
I did have, Pat Knoll was supposed to be here. I want to talk a little bit about Pat. Pat couldn't make it today. But Pat originally started with Finney County in August of '83 when Finney County still had the landfill. So he worked for the county at the landfill, and then in 1995, the landfill was privatized. When that happened, Pat stayed with the landfill and became their employee. Then in 1998, Pat was hired again as a construction equipment operator with the county. In 2006, he became the road supervisor, and he's held that position for 17 years. As a total, over the two times, Pat has worked for the county for 29 years. And he does an excellent, excellent job. And I can honestly say with this guy, I have never had a supervisor in the Road and Bridge Department that turned out work as good as this guy. He puts out the best work I've ever seen. That's it.
If you can stay up here. Let's go ahead and give everybody a round of applause for those years of service. Okay, now we're going to do the 20-year, and I'm going to let Kurt go since he was just up here. Gennaro?
In recognition of our 20-year employees, I'm going to step down from the commission seats, as are the other commissioners, to personally congratulate these special persons for their recognition. And if you'll give us a minute to get organized, Kelly will be right there.
Sure.
Okay, I have Gennaro Espino, I believe. Gennaro started with Finney County in December of 2002 as an equipment operator. In December of 2006, he was promoted to construction equipment operator. In 2012, his position changed to equipment operator 3. Then in June of 2014, Gennaro was promoted to the equipment operator supervisor. Gennaro was again promoted in March of 2018 to assistant road supervisor. Then at the end of last year, with the reorganization of Public Works, Gennaro was then promoted to the Road and Bridge Division Coordinator. This is a guy that really, really deserves climbing the ladder as he has. This guy is good. He is very ethical. He has great morals. I am really proud to have him in the Public Works Department. He's going to be a big plus for this department in the future.
Thank you.
I have a certificate here for his 20 years of service. And then we have a nice silver belt buckle for him with special engraving on it. General, thank you.
This way.
This way.
Thank you. Join us for lunch.
Thank you.
Shruti and Sandy. Just gonna let the others go first.
Morning. I'm honored to present Sandra Carbajal. I was going to say Sandy because that's what everybody just calls her, Sandy, for 20 years of her service to the Finney County Health Department. Sandy started as accounting clerk, moved her way into insurance, and worked her way up to business manager. Right now, she started in October of 2002, and now it's been 20 years. I have known Sandy a little over a year now, and every day it feels like an honor to see her work with dedication, with passion. She is always ready to help out. She's always ready to take on new challenges, learn new things, and try to be as efficient as possible. And she's a great supervisor. Her team loves her, and I think that's a big testament to how amazing she is. It's an honor. We have a little plaque for Sandy. and a little card with testimonials from all of us at the health department saying how much we love her. So thank you, Sandy, and congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry about running into your car.
I don't have one.
She doesn't.
Mike?
Gonna get my notes over here. I can't remember off the top of my head all these.
Gray hair syndrome.
That's what it is. We're gonna start with the one that's been there the longest in the 20-year people. It's Jennifer Rogers. Jennifer started, she was hired in March of '02 in the jail, transferred to patrol. Wait, you went to the office? I guess I missed that. You went to the office first and then patrol. I didn't know that. And then she, from patrol, she went to investigations, where in 2019 she was promoted to sergeant. And just recently this year, in January of '23, she became our first female captain of the investigations division. Congratulations, 20 years. Thank you very much. And we have for her, if I can find it, first one, and 20-year watch. She had it engraved with, I don't know what she put on it, but that's hers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
well done.
Ashley. There's another one of those that Eva, we call her. She goes by Ashley. I didn't even know her first name was Eva for I don't know how many years. She started in the jail, where you spent most of your time. We couldn't get her to come to patrol for the longest time. You were a sergeant in the jail too, weren't you? So you worked your way up there as a sergeant and finally decided to come to patrol. In when did you transfer to patrol? It was 2017. And just last year, she was promoted to corporal in the patrol division in 20 years. And you started in July of '02. Thank you very much for your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on, you got a gift.
And she also, yeah, we had to put EAC on that, huh, so we know who it is for 20-year watch. Thank you.
for keeping us safe.
Go back to coffee session.
Oh, yeah.
Doug Hare. What can I say about Doug? Quite the guy. He's been in our jail since he started in November of '02. I've been up there numerous times since I became the sheriff, and Doug's one of those guys that greets you with a smile, tell you whatever you want to know. You ask him something, better be prepared because he's going to tell you. And he's very well respected. I can see that up in the jail every time I'm up there, all the people that he works with. He's a supervisor. 21, you became jail corporal up there for us, and does a very good job. Thank you very much, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
Doug too has it. Last one, and he couldn't be here. I sent him to training. He's at peer support training. He's very instrumental. He was promoted back in, 2020 to a lieutenant in the jail. He spent his whole career up in the jail. I can't say enough about Brett Heckle. He's in charge of our personnel in the jail. And if anybody that knows Brett, you'll know why he's in charge of the people, because they just love him. And so he's at peer support. That's critical incident management training. That's so if we have any kind of incident, people that are struggling, he'll be able to recognize them and hopefully help them out up jail, patrol, wherever. So wish he could be here. It's my fault I sent him.
All right, Sheriff. Thank you.
He's making you do it, isn't he?
I'm not doing it. Robert?
It's not lunch, but.
It's not lunch.
Where's my crux,
That's
my
right.
paper?
What do you need?
Oh, Skylar. I need Skylar up here.
Oh, you need Skylar?
Yes. And my Cliff Notes. Okay, you've been here 20 years. Actually, you've been here longer.
A little bit longer, yes.
You joined Finney County EMS as a reserve in 99. So and came on permanently then as a paramedic in 02. And has gone through field officer, now director, kind of served part-time as health department director for a short period of time. And I'm looking at Dwayne on that as well. And serves in many capacities, whether it's through our safety committee or as a backup to e-management, whatever the need is. And got to know Skylar quite well during the pandemic, as well as everybody at the health department during that time. But for the past 3 years, have worked with him, and more than anything, just tried to support him in the direction of the EMS service and so forth. And I can't say enough how much I appreciate that service and so forth, as you may, as many of you might attest, and some of those that are users of the EMS service. So I can attest for the need and the desire to for that commitment. So Skylar, more than anything, I want to congratulate you on your 20+ years of service to Finney County, and in particular for EMS. Thank you so very much. Yeah. And this is his 20-year plaque, as well as a few other items up here, but job well done. Thank you again. In case you want to make a speech.
You shouldn't give a hot mic to a lawyer.
Kelly, do you have
anything else?
We should just let them know we're gonna have a small reception now and then.
We're gonna go back into regular session for just a moment, and I'm gonna give the hot mic back to somebody who can handle it. On behalf of the commissioners, the taxpayers, and those who don't know all the extraordinary things and sacrifices you make for public service, we thank you. The 20-year service recognition will continue with a brunch lunch with the commissioners, others, and your supervisors. And we want to again thank you all for being patient with us as we had to attend to that other business. But also want to thank you again for your service. We really appreciate it. And is there a motion to dismiss? Adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn for the day.
I'll second.
Best second of the day from Mr. Jones. Is there any discussion? No. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.